It's time for a little bit of find and replace magic in Dreamweaver. Understand you could write entire books about this one feature in Dreamweaver. It's very powerful. We're dealing with text, so we're going to use it in terms of finding and replacing text. But believe me, it's so much more than that, as you'll find out in chapters coming up. Let's start by going up to the word edit. Under the word edit, you actually have three choices here. You've got find and replace, find selection, and find again. Let's start with these two, selection and again. Let's come back out here. Oh, let's say for the sake of argument that we're looking for all the occurrences of the word government within our document. So we select it. Once it's selected, we go to the word edit. We go back down to find selection. And it finds the next occurrence. The shortcut for finding the next occurrence again is Control G, and we can keep this up all day. So there might be a reason why you're looking for a particular word. It's in the document, you select it, boom, you've got it. Very easy to do. Let's go back up to the word edit. Let's deselect that, go back to the word edit, and go to the meat of the thing, and that is find and replace. In find and replace, number one, you do not have to look in the current document. We can look in an area that we've selected. We can look in all the open documents. We only have one open right now. We can select a folder, selected files in the site, or the entire local site. So we can do a lot of different things here. Now we've already done a search. That's easy. You select and put a word right in here. You type and look for the word, and you say find next. Every time you do, it will be more than glad to find those words for you. Watch what happens when I say find all. It opens up the search parameter panel right here, and those are all the instances in this document where the word government appears. And if I click on them, I can select them. It's another way to get to it. Now you want to go back to find and replace, click this button right here. You don't have to go to edit, right there. Let's say we made a mistake. This is not the Wichita visitor site, this is the Toronto visitor site. But don't forget, we could actually do the entire site, which would make this much more powerful if we had more pages. Let's do this. Type in the word Wichita, and we will change or replace it to the word Toronto. Now, what about some of these buttons that I see up here? For example, this button right here is to save a query. Now, that's what this is. If you do something very complicated and you'd like to be able to use it over and over again, a certain find replace thing that you do, you can set it all up and then click here to save it, give it a name. The next time you need it, you can click here and it will load it for you. Save you a lot of typing. This button down here says match case. Well, Wichita would be capitalized, so we can turn that on, no problem. But there are times you might want to find words that are capitalized at the beginning of a sentence that might not be capitalized in the rest, so you might want to turn that off. Match the whole word. Well, Wichita can also be Wichita's apostrophe S. If I turn that on, it won't find it if it's apostrophe S. If I leave it off, I can still replace Toronto with Toronto's because I'm not matching the whole word, so I'm going to leave that off. Over here, and let's turn this off, ignore white space. That would be additional spacing, things like that that are in the document. I want to ignore that, okay? Ignore that. Regular expressions. Now, this is where you could write a whole book. We're not going to get into that yet, but it does allow us to create what are called expressions to fine-tune exactly what we're looking for and search for. We'll handle that a little bit later. Right now, a very simple search, Wichita to Toronto. If I click Find Next, it will find the next occurrence within the document, and there it is, and I can choose to replace it just that one. But I know every time the word Wichita occurs, I want it replaced with Toronto. I can say replace all, and it will replace, as you can see, everywhere within our document. The word Wichita has now been replaced with the word Toronto. Find, and replace. We're just scratching the surface on it. But when you're working with text and you need to replace things, it's a very valuable tool to know that you have, especially if you work on sites that have a lot of pages.